What's going on, guys? Welcome back to your pre-market watch list today. And as you probably have seen, the entire stock market is still burning down. So what do? Well, let's just go ahead and look at the chart. Help you guys analyze what's going on. So sell-off is still continuing so far this morning. The market is somewhat questionable. For now, the bigger support level that we have yet to test is going to be here at 295. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and just kind of redo all this. So this is the 1 year, 1 day chart on the Nasdaq. This has been selling off significantly. We're going to go here to this yellow line. We're going to just place our own price point there for reference. We're going to make it green for the color, buy and support. So for now, that is the current price point that we're going to look to go long off of. And let me show you what it could look like when it gets there. What we'll do now is look at the 180-day 4-hour chart. What we're going to do is the same exact thing that we just did. We're going to go to this yellow line and we're going to place our own level as a reference, and we'll make it green as a buy reference. Now we'll go look at a 1 minute chart. So when we look at this 1 minute chart, you can see yesterday that yellow level on the 4-hour, so again the 4-hour level here, when we look at how the price of the Nasdaq interacted yesterday, it was pretty awesome. You can see that the market came down to that level, it got bought up, we came back below it and broke, bounced back to it, rejected, and went down. So yesterday we were long biased the market at these prices, anticipating that the market would try to bounce here. We did, but the market is still too weak, so we went all the way back under and rejected. So for now, that tells us that the market is still somewhat bearish. You can see today, just before the jobs report, that the market was sitting on the 305 level, and right after the jobs report came out, the market crashed. So you can see we went right back to that green level and tested it as resistance once again today. This could very well signal that the move is going to continue lower. And if then the event it does, and we go all the way down to 295, you should look for a play like this back from yesterday. Remember how yesterday it bounced here at 305? You should look for something similar here today around 295. The bounce may not be as big as this one. It might not be as easy or aggressively back up as that one was yesterday, but 295 should be somewhat of a area, a low risk zone that much of the market will be looking to participate in on the long side. And if that is true, then you should see some sort of consolidation, bounce, or hold around 295. Give or take a little bit, okay? Bounces aren't always that perfect, but give or take a little bit around the 295. So if all that is true, then we would anticipate that the market continues lower and you're going to see stocks continue lower as well. So what I want to talk about now is the SPY, or not the SPY, sorry. I want to talk about NEO. NEO is on the screen there on the right, all right? So NEO is a little bit interesting because NEO has come down to our next buy point. All right. So I believe our previous buy point for NEO in this drop was here. So we had previously went long NEO from this low point and sold that high point. All right. The market has since then gotten bearish again and continued down. Well, the next buy point for NEO is pretty much now, theoretically. So you can see this trend line here, and we'll put the reference there. So again, we have this trend coming in right at about 37, just over the 200 moving average. We're going to change this green to represent buy, and you can see yesterday, as the market on NEO started to get closer to these zones, we got bought up, but we're still trailing down. We got bought up again. So right now, the current support in the market for NEO is in fact this 37. It doesn't mean that we're going to hold 37 and then just bounce immediately, but this does tell me that we are coming into a lower risk buying zone for NEO, is the way that we would typically look at this. But since the overall market is still trading pretty sluggish to the downside, it's keeping NEO from bouncing in the immediate, and probably the same goes for many other stocks right now in the market. So when the Nasdaq successfully gains its footing and bounces, we're probably going to see obviously all these other stocks pick up as well. So I think we can see some sluggish trading on NEO that maybe still brings it down below prices of 37, but overall we should probably be considering this as the current long zone for NEO right now. Okay? So think, if the market can go down on the Nasdaq to 295, so say another 500 points or something like that. So if the market can go down, still to 295 before it gains its footing, then wouldn't you agree that there's a strong possibility that this market, say on NEO, can continue sliding to 37, maybe a bit below 37, but still be in the buy zone? All right. So I think overall, next couple days, pretty much since yesterday, I figured we should start considering the market has entered into long bias zones and start considering the idea of accumulating positions for a dip buy. So for right now, we are going to be watching NEO long bias as the Nasdaq comes into the 295 price. We're basically anticipating anywhere around 295, 294, 293, to somewhere in that 295 zone. The market's going to try to settle, and if we're correct, we should see bounces coming very soon in a lot of the stocks in this market. All right, next thing that we will discuss, and now that I'm seeing this kind of reverse on the Qs, I want to make one more suggestion, so that way I'm covering all my bases. So I did mention we could go to 295, right? So if the market goes to 295, we'll look for a bounce there. Do know that the market is still in a potential long dip from this support. We did break it yesterday, right? But we could just be accumulating to come back over. So let me rephrase. We still have a potential long on the market for a break and a successful move back through the 305. So you can see this trend line is in play right now. So if the market really is strong and it's meant to bounce, there's a good chance that we can see this come back over 305, try to hold 305, and start turning into a long. You can see how we've come back. We're retesting 305 now. Look at how well we stopped right there. So I'm showing you that these trends are 100% accurate. You can see that I mapped that trend off and we went right back to it, tagged it to a penny, and we went back down. So this is resistance for the time being. But if somehow the market can magically get back and over, we could see a long move, and we might in fact be seeing the market try to base down here. This could have been a shakedown yesterday, and the market's going to try to base and come back up. So we're basically, to me, I think we've entered the long zone, right? For me, the market long zone was pretty much anywhere from the 304 down here, right? So like this for me was the long zone on the Nasdaq. Okay, so we'll see how that holds up, right? All right, next thing I want to talk about real quickly is going to be one of the penny stocks that was moving this morning. None of them really held up that well. There was this AQMS. I mean, this was the only penny stock that had like a really interesting move both ways. This thing got a price target at $8. It had just sold off. All right, so if you look at this stock has just sold off. It came down to support. So this is actually a decent stock to consider on the long side overall. So just an FYI. So with that being said, guys, that's today's morning watch list. I hope you learned something new. I hope that helps you. But pretty much remember this. What most of the stocks are waiting on in this market currently is for the Nasdaq to bottom. That's pretty much the environment we're in. It's not, how much further is this stock going to go down? How much further? It's really, when is this market going to bottom? When it does, we'll start to see stocks ramp back up. So with that being said, guys, everybody take care. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next watch list.